Hi, friends. I'm Mike Knoll, and today is Thursday, October 10th, 2024. Today's topic is Don't Live and Die by the KPI. So, if you were with me last week, I talked about manufacturing process with three stations. I had Gilligan, Ginger, and Marianne, and I mentioned W. Edwards Deming and his 14 points. And today I'm going to touch on another one, and this is the second part of point 11. Eliminate management by objective, eliminate management by numbers, numerical goals, substitute leadership. And the topic being Don't Live and Die by KPI. KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. Every once in a while I catch myself saying Key Process Indicator. That sort of makes sense, but the P is really performance. And a KPI is a number that you look at to measure how good or bad of a job you're doing. And a lot of times it's tied to a particular process. That's why I think process. So on the surface, any KPI looks like a simple thing. And so the better the number, whether it's a high is good or low is good, the better you're doing. And it could be a process, work section, business, or maybe even the United States economy. You can measure all kinds of things like per capita earnings, unemployment, the number of cars rolling off an assembly line, and how long it takes from the time somebody arrives at a fast food drive-through until they roll out with their order. So it's really common to see organizations boost their KPIs with incentives. For the fast food restaurant, maybe they could give bonuses and raises to managers of locations when their drive-through times are better than the goal. And in all industries, a lot of managers like to adopt the corporate KPI for their own report card when it's time for their annual appraisals. They'll say, well, my department's performance was 10% better than KPI, and then everybody gets their raise and nobody gets laid off and everybody's happy. Everything's awesome. Well, by Deming's reasoning, goals like KPIs shouldn't be the main tool you use to manage an organization, and I agree with Deming on this. KPIs are useful to have a snapshot of how you're doing, and you have to be really careful with them, however. First, you need to make sure that they align with your organization's goals, strategy, mission, and vision. And if your KPI is not aligned with the goal, you're not going to be successful at your strategy. You're not going to accomplish your mission, and you're going to miss the mark on your vision. I think this is something we all have a little experience with, fast food drive-through. If you live near a Chick-fil-A, I know that you do. They're awesome, by the way. I'm using that word awesome again. But I can't pick on them. I can't pick on them because that's a great experience. So if a fast food restaurant's chain, if their vision is to be the number one fast casual dining choice, their mission might be to give each diner an excellent experience, and then their goal would be, say, get the order right the first time every time. So if their KPI target is to reduce the time it takes a car to move through the drive-through by 10% year over year, then they're not addressing the get the order right the first time every time. And then they end up working against their strategy, mission, and vision. So even if you made your KPI orders will be correct to a 4 sigma threshold, and that would be above 99.99%, friends, then the customer might not be happy because it might take them 15 or 20 minutes to get through a drive-through. So then they're still working against the vision. And my point here is KPIs are a good thing, but they're not the only thing. So, continuing on the subject, incentives. If you have time, there is a classic article. It's called On the Folly of Rewarding A While Hoping for B. It's written by Steven Kerr. It goes back to the 1970s. And another thing, if you want to look this up, is the scandal that shook Wells Fargo a few years ago. They had incentives where they wanted their people to open accounts and get those numbers up on how many accounts they open. And this got to the point where there were accusations that employees opened fake accounts without the depositor's knowledge. And Wells Fargo ended up paying millions of dollars in fines and restitution, not to mention what kind of hit that did to their reputation. So once again, I'll say KPIs are a great tool. I love them. I've spent a lot of time in my professional career looking at processes and departments and determining the right KPI that's going to give you a good measure of how you're doing. And then I'll go in and create a dashboard and give them like the green, yellow, and red numbers. You know, green good, yellow marginal, red of course is bad. And but it's more important to get the KPIs that are going to give you insight, that's going to tell a story and show you what might be wrong, instead of what I see sometimes where teams will set up their dashboards just to show they're doing great, and mysteriously it never dips to the yellow or the red. And whenever I see that, I get a little suspicious, and I start hearing the Lego, ironically, the Lego Everything is Awesome song in my head. Okay, that's enough of that. And the point is everything is probably not awesome. So that gives me an opportunity to really look in there. So in conclusion, don't live and die by the KPI. Be aware of what's going on. Use the KPIs to find things that can be improved and to find things that are going wrong. Don't use that solely as a means of showing everybody how awesome you are. Thank you.